Hey everyone, are you ready for this wild adventure? Little Handsome asks a friend to tie a rope around his waist to measure the monster's volume. Then, our rockin' uncle stands up. Everyone unanimously accepts Little Handsome's odd idea, opening the supermarket door and venturing into the fog like warriors as the rope lengthens. Just when everyone thought less is more, the rope suddenly slackened, seemingly losing its balance, fell on the ground, and then suddenly zoomed out like it was a subtitles. Little Handsome and company, hand scraped, dared not let go. Stranger things began as the rope moved up alone. As the other end suddenly lost its balance, Little Handsome and his brothers fell to the floor, and when they got back up to pull in the rope, they were horrified to find it covered in. The end of the rope had two rocking uncles at the end, and as the crew with the black hair reached the center, witnessing it all, they finally bought into the monster's existence. The Little Handsome Alliance cut the rope and shut the door tight, fearing the monster's sudden arrival. The Oracle then seized her chance to strike again. Now, do you believe? This is definitely divine retribution. Those who doubted the Oracle went silent. Night fell quickly, and everyone built a fort out of random stuff, taking turns on watch, as the fear of death loomed like an invisible. People were getting tired and breathless, while the flying bugs multiplied like they were organizing a party. Suddenly, our flying monster swooped in, smashing against the glass and gobbling up the bugs as if it were a one-finger curse. But as more one-finger curses struck, the glass would break soon, and Little Handsome realized it then. The bugs had a unique refractive property, so he quickly turned off all the lights, but his sidekick misunderstood and turned the lights back on. Finally, the glass couldn't take it anymore, shattering under a one-finger curse, and the bugs poured in like a chaotic fireworks display. The poor clerk wasn't so lucky. He got bitten by a bug and his neck swelled like a balloon, leading him to suffocate in the chaos. Just then, a bug landed on the Oracle, but oddly enough, it didn't bite her. It just hung around for a bit before buzzing off. Everyone was dumbfounded by the scene, starting to think the Oracle was truly sent by the divine. Meanwhile, another bug swooped in, heading straight. Little Handsome lit a torch and, with the blonde's help, repelled the one-finger curse. But he tripped while lighting it and set himself ablaze. Meanwhile, Little Handsome was bashing with a wooden stick like a pro, finally taking down one-finger curse. Before they could even take a moment to relax, they heard this song calling out to them. After the battle had ended, everyone hurriedly searched for wooden planks. They fixed the broken glass walls on the other side. The burned man didn't give up, begging Little Handsome to end his pain. But compassionate Little Handsome wouldn't let a life fade away before his eyes, so he decided to wait until dawn to head to the pharmacy next door for supplies. But this time, Little Handsome wasn't just planning to save the guy, he had another plan: to slip out of Dodge. After the Oracle's bug ritual, she's drawn many followers and will attract more as people seek support in despair. The Oracle kept preaching that only a blood sacrifice could clear the fog. Little Handsome worried she might use anyone who opposed her as a sacrifice, especially since they were likely thorns in the Oracle's side. So, at dawn, Little Handsome gathered a crew to raid. Sure enough, they met fierce opposition from the Oracle, who claimed it would bring divine wrath, killing her and even her dog. In the end, Little Handsome and his companions finally succeeded in walking out of the supermarket. But their ties with the Oracle broke completely. At the pharmacy, things went smoothly and they found needed supplies. Just then, the old man heard an eerie sound and looked up to see the ceiling covered in thick spiderwebs with some folks ensnared in them. The sight left the owner frozen in shock, only to realize it was the previously appeared white soldiers. Little Handsome tried to save him, but his back was stuck by spider silk. Suddenly, the corpses shook violently as he tore their clothes open. The owner saw his chest covered in insect eggs, 2 spiders on his face. The group froze, turning their heads. They caught sight of a spider staring at them menacingly as if they were its next meal, with more spiders starting to spin webs. Little Handsome realized the webs had powerful corrosive properties and were everywhere, forcing them to fight and retreat in desperation. Just then, a web caught a man's leg, blood gushing, as the soldier's body fell. It burst open like jelly, unleashing terrifying spiders like a tidal wave. Holy shit, this was like a horror movie, and everyone hurried to drag the wounded out. There's a big one at the door. The scholar tried to shoot, but had no ammo. Then he turned into Zhang Fei, wielding his spear. He stabbed right through the spider's head and tossed it aside, and finally, they made it back to the supermarket, but not without losing 2 during the escape. Upon seeing Little Handsome and the crew's tragic state, despair settled even deeper into everyone, while the Oracle's call became their last straw. Even old Wang turned to the oracle's face, shouting, "Holy shit!" People often turn to religion in despair. Science and reason often fall flat, and when reality offers no solutions and no power brings hope, people instinctively seek spiritual solace. Notable beliefs thus become psychological comfort, giving people faith that above suffering, there's a higher power to rely on. Though these beliefs lack real-world support, they provide courage and meaning to those stuck in despair. Meanwhile, Little Handsome remembered the soldier's last words, "It's all our fault," leading him to suspect a connection between the fog and the police. He found a private and pressed him for answers, but before he could get to word N, old Wang suddenly showed up, dragging the private in front of him. Under pressure from the oracle, the private finally spilled the beans. It turns out the higher-ups always believed there were other realms beyond their world, leading them to build a portal out of curiosity. When the portal opened, monsters from another realm invaded. The oracle preached her divine narrative,